violence, war, hate, extremism, and terrorism. Despite the Geneva Conventions, civilians are increasingly the primary targets of war and violence. And as the Council's landmark resolution 1325 observed, women and girls suffer disproportionately and inordinately from war, conflict, and violence. The strategy adopted in Security Council Resolution 1325 and the 10 subsequent resolutions on women, peace, and security has served to enhance national and international recognition on the challenges and its manifestations. Almost 90 states have adopted national action plans to protect women and girls and to empower them to contribute to prevent and respond to conflict, war, and violence. The UN Special Rapporteur on Sexual Violence in Conflict has helped to enhance recognition of this challenge. The larger presence and role of women peacekeepers has visibly contributed to preventing and containing conflicts and violence and crimes against women. Yet we are far from realizing the objectives of the Women, Peace and Security agenda. The somber reality is that women continue to be the principal victims of war and conflict. We hear the cries of mothers, sisters and daughters in Iraq, Afghanistan, Ukraine, and Africa, suffering from the consequences of wars that were imposed on them. We have yet to implement the strategy to prevent wars, erase its suffering, establish accountability for the crimes against women and girls, and empower women through skills, access, and leadership to contribute to prevention, recovery, and redress their imposed and disproportionate suffering. Madam President, we are disappointed at the restrictions imposed on education and work on women and girls in Afghanistan. The rights of women and girls to access all levels of education and work is a fundamental right in keeping with Islamic injunction. We urge the de facto authorities to take steps towards resumption of female education and allow them to contribute to Afghan society. The most egregious autocracies and crimes against women and girls occur in situations of foreign occupation and suppression of the right to self-determination of peoples. Here, the very object of violence is to suppress the civilian population. This is manifested most vividly in the occupied Palestinian territories and occupied Jammu and Kashmir. The Women, Peace and Security strategy will remain incomplete and unfulfilled so long as the acute dimensions of the plight of women under foreign occupation is not addressed frontally and vigorously. Above all, occupation forces must be held accountable. To ensure the implementation of the WPS strategy, it is essential to establish monitoring mechanisms for crimes committed against women and girls in territories under foreign occupation, including occupied Jammu and Kashmir. The Security Council called for improved monitoring in Resolution 1888 in 2009 through the deployment of military and gender expert teams to conflict areas, and in Resolution 1960 from 2010, it endorsed measures to end impunity of perpetrators. These provisions must be implemented. Pakistan also supports effective implementation of other measures in the Council's resolutions on women, peace and security, the deployment of women protection advisors, a larger role for UN women peacekeepers, especially in leadership positions, addressing the root causes of conflict, increasing the resources for women in conflict zones, and a stronger and equal role for women in the prevention of conflict, in the delivery of relief and recovery assistance, and in forging lasting peace. The peaceful resolution of conflicts in accordance with the UN Charter and Security Council resolutions, utilizing the various mechanisms available under the UN Charter. I thank you.
I thank to His Excellency.
کوئی ان کو بلیم نہیں کرنا چاہتا کہ جی وہ انہوں نے کیا کیا تھا، لیکن